and welcome to Energy Healing for Animals Book Club. I'm really excited that you're here, and we are on Chapter 4, Animals and the Unseen Force of Energy, A Few True Stories. And I've got some amazing stories. And of course, now my dog has to come right here. So anyway, I just got back from Seattle, where I was the keynote speaker on Friday night at the Animal Bodywork Conference, and I also then presented with my business partner, Dr. Jill Todd. She's a holistic vet, and we have a CBD company, and we've been in a kind of reorg, so you'll be hearing a lot more about it as we start rolling our stuff back out again. But anyway, it was so fun to be around so many people that are doing this work. And for me, I think about body work as very much part of energy work, because that's how animals are energetic, and therefore even body work becomes energetic at that point. So anyway, it was just really exciting. And then Claudia came with me. She flew up the last day I was there. She was there for about 36 hours. And at one point she said to me, "These people look so familiar." I'm like, "It's because you're more of your tribe, it's us animal people." So it was really fun to get out there and to be with, to expand the tribe and to see more people living their mission. And my talk was, your mission is bigger than your feelings. And it was all about really stepping into that thing, because I feel like especially body workers tend to be more on the introvert, empathic, and have listened to the doubts in their head. So we did a whole tapping around. Anyway, it was enormous fun. Big fun was had by all. And but it was just great to be reminded that there's a whole bunch of people out there doing this work, and we have to keep going with it. So, is anybody on?
Yeah, speaking of a whole bunch of people.
Cool.
Karen Maynard says hello, everyone.
Hello.
Cindy Coleman says hi from Dallas.
Hi, Cindy.
Michelle Shell says hi, everyone.
Hi, Michelle.
Colette says we're back. Yay. Hello, everyone. Cindy Gans Turner, hi all. Leslie Williams, hello. Jan Marie Peterson, hello from Humboldt. Bayeri says hello from Devon. Yasmin says hello, Joan. So great to see you here. And hello. Cindy Grigoriev says hi.
Hello.
So hello, everybody.
And who's from Montana? I know somebody was from Montana. Just wondering about the snow. Anyway, so if you're new to me, my name is Joan Ranquet. I'm an animal communicator, energy healer, author, TEDx speaker, and founder of Communication with All Life University. And my school is for people to either learn animal communication, enhance what they already do, like if they're a body worker, trainer, groomer, or really step into that as a business. And the same also energy healing, and then we're building out a nature and wildlife piece. I've been writing it for years, but it will come out eventually. So anyway, the school is really, I'm a little twirly because people are literally landing at the airport now. Like, we're going to hear from Carrie and Sue, because all my teachers are flying in. I've got the intensive this weekend, and I'm just super excited. I could almost cry because a few of them are coming in. Normally on the first Wednesday of every week, every month, we have the teacher trainer call, and so tomorrow I'll have a bunch of us sitting here in person for the teacher trainer call, and then the rest of the teachers on Zoom. I've got wild cats. And so anyway, I'm super excited about people flying in right now. So, and I want to just say that my mission is, there goes the neighborhood. Hi, I know you cannot change the cat. We were ready early, and it always just kind of goes crazy. Okay, Abby.
What happens with animals?
Yeah, Abby. Oh, I know. So anyway, my mission is to empower others to deeply connect with all life, so that together we can give voice to those who can't speak for themselves, And ultimately that raises the frequency of the planet. And I put a number on it this year of 1 million animals. I'm here to help 1 million animals and their people to understand. But in helping 1 million animals, I can't do it by myself, so I need help, and that's why we're all here. And we're continuing to expand, and we expanded the tribe with the whole, getting up and speaking at this event. So anyway, did we have somebody from Montana?
Yes, Michelle Shell. She
I
says,
thought
that
it was
would
Michelle.
be me in
Yeah.
Montana. We got over 19 inches in Great Falls. Right now it is super cold, so everything is frozen.
Michelle, did I know that you're from Great Falls? That's where my dad was from. My dad grew up in Great Falls, and I grew up going to Great Falls every summer of my life, and I know that town intimately. I know 10th Avenue, I know downtown, I know, I used to ride my bike from my aunt's house to downtown. I know that whole town. All my cousins were teachers there, and anyway, that's wacky. That is wacky. So I've been in snowstorms in Great Falls, Montana. It's one of my favorite things about Great Falls is it could get really snowy. Okay, so anyway,
But all the animals are a little twirly right now.
everybody's twirly. We're excited because the house is getting cleaned, and Marissa, my assistant that has been an internship with the White Lions, is back, and she's so she house sat for me, and it was like old home week, and then she's fixed everything except this morning. So somebody gave me, Kara, who's one of my teachers, sent the cats. I don't know if you were on my Facebook Lives, but my cats turned 10 on August 20th. They're little Leos. And so somebody sent me the coolest cat shelves. Well, if you know me, you know I can't fix a thing. So Claudia has helped me put things together, but Marissa is my expert put things together. So, of course, when she comes back from South Africa, I've got this list of things that she has to help me put together. So she put the cat shelves up in the garage, so it was going to be this cool, like the cats could leap from here to here to here to here. So this morning I was so proud of the cat shelves, and I was like, Claudia, come into the garage and see what's going on in there. And so I put Francesca on a cat shelf. It just dropped. So we could not stop laughing, and Francesca just went like this and looked at us. And so
we heard her cuss words towards us.
Yeah, she was pretty that was some unseen energy that was quite clear. As a matter of fact, if there were fingers, there was one involved that would have told me what was what with that. So anyway,
and where we could put those shelves.
Yeah, exactly. So Marissa's got a little bit of work to do. She's been out of the shelf building business. So anyway.
Okay, so Michelle Shell says, yes, hold on. We talked about Great Falls in a previous book club. LOL. Yep, 10th Avenue, the most dangerous street in Montana. LOL.
That's funny.
Tony and Ventrella has a question. When you come across someone who is negative and how they can affect you, would that be how we put our negative... Hold on one second. I'm trying to get... There we go. Would that be how we could put our negative on our animals' feelings?
Okay, I'm confused, and
Yeah.
we'll get. I would love for you to break that down. Like maybe give me an example. I'm going to do some little bit of this, and we'll definitely get to that because, all right, if we think in terms of, I don't believe in negative or positive. So be more specific. What this person is? It a person that's doubting your ability as a healer? Is it a person that was just crappy at work? Is it a person that was, is it a stupid old boyfriend? What are we talking about here in terms of negative? Because I don't think also we necessarily have negative feelings that we put on our animals, but I feel like we can definitely affect them with our stuff. So I like to drill down and get really specific, because the more specific we are, the more we can shift the household pretty quickly. So be specific. I'd love to hear it. Okay. So here's one of my favorite quotes on the planet by Alice Walker. And Alice Walker is, she has a story in a book that I have, that I'm a contributor to, called The Dharma of Dogs. And I don't know if she's a contributor to The Karma of Cats, but The Karma of Cats is coming out, and I've got a story in there about Francesca and Alexandria. Francesca, who's still mad at me. Yeah, she's nowhere to be found. She's not on the cat tree here. Anyway. No, she's not in the room. She's not on that shelf. Anyway, so here's an Alice Walker quote. The animals of the world exist for their own reasons. They were not made for humans any more than black people were made for white or women created for men. I mean, that just... wow, right? That, and yet, I don't, as an animal communicator, I don't fault anybody for anthropomorphic, sort of that where we make animals, anthropomorphic, where we make animals about humans, but anthropocentric, where we make animals, so anthropomorphic is giving animals a human trait, and assigning the same emotions, and I don't think they have the exact same emotions, but they have the depth of the emotions. Like we talked about this before, I don't think they necessarily go into great rounds of guilt, but they can worry. I mean, they have deep, deep grief, they have deep everything. But this to me is like the poster child of what I'm talking about when I say I think things are really anthropocentric, and even certain animal communication and energy healers, experts, subscribe to the idea that all this, the mirroring, and it's like, well, they can reflect us to some degree, but I really believe that they are first responders, and their first response to our energy may be to mirror it, but it also may be a number of other things. And when we're really looking at them and not who they are in relation to us, we're going to have a better world. And I just hope we really carry on in that. Is that, after all the giggling, was that a deep moment?
That was a deep moment.
Okay. Is everybody with me on that one?
Yeah, I think so. Tony Ann says, sorry everyone, I'm outside waiting on a ride. Okay.
All right. So, and the reason that that's so important is the first sentence here is, our multi-species households are an ongoing experiment in energy. Because imagine we've got cat energy, dog energy, I've got horse energy. I've got, when I was down early this morning cleaning my paddocks, I've got horse and dog energy. I actually put my cats in the strollers recently and roll them down to the horses, so then I've got cat-horse energy. But it's different kind of energy, and it's fun to watch. And I love this whole thing of the butterfly effect that what?
Cindy Genstern. She says, you have to quit using words I can't say.
Look at, there's two bluebirds, right? Oh my God.
Wow.
That is stunning.
Squirrel.
I know, that's a big squirrel, but you know what? Wildlife.
Wildlife is awesome.
Yeah. So the butterfly effect, and this goes back to what I was saying as far as like the energy in the household. The butterfly effect is the idea that a hurricane can come from one part of the world, because literally a butterfly. So the hurricane can hit here because a butterfly flapped its wing over here. So it's like we have an effect on each other at all times. And so going back to that question about the negative energy, I'd want to know, I think that rather than like, I'm putting my negative energy on my animals, it's more like I've absorbed this and I don't have a grasp of my reality, and I'm putting that on my animals. And the more we can oh, is that my car going away?
Possibly.
The tow truck?
Possibly.
All right, anyway, yeah, my car. Boo-hoo. Anyway, so the more we are aware specifically of what we feel when we feel like we got kind of, like we accidentally took on something. And it's more, not so much about somebody else putting the energy on us, it's us becoming aware that somebody could do that, and that then we are equally as capable of doing it over here. And that is really what that question was about.
She says, yes, that's it.
Yeah. And so we'll get more, we're going to drill down a little bit more on emotional leadership in a moment, because that's what it is. But anyway, morphic resonance at a distance. I told the story last week about how my friend had she kept her horse at my place, and she lived there. She lived in a trailer. And one morning I was about to go ride, and I went outside, and she was tacking her horse up to get ready to go on a trail ride. And I was going to then have a dressage lesson, and I was waiting for my trainer, and I went into the house to do something. I came back out, my horses were just having a meltdown, and the trainer got there and could not catch my horses to save my life. Seriously, could not catch my horses. And it was one of those kind of rainy days that, this was outside of Seattle, that my trainer and I just gave up and went into the house and had coffee. And I figured it was a bear. Something had startled one of my horses, Anya. I always call her the bear whisperer. So what happened was, about an hour and a half later, Kelly came back with her horse, and she said that she was walking her horse, and I thought, oh boy, did she get bucked off. And she had said that she had that Doc, her horse, was way off in the, they were a couple miles away in thick woods, and that her horse started freaking out for no reason. And I asked her what time, and it was the exact same time that my horses started freaking out. And so that, to me, is the epitome of morphic resonance, that the horses are connected even when they're not in the same area. So we're all connected, and our household especially. So when we think of our household, this kooky combination of dogs, cats, and horses and humans, we have a certain resonance with each other, and I feel like the language is definitely love. We definitely love each other. It doesn't mean that, like this morning you watched, or did you see Queen Latifah just bat at Abby,
yeah.
Get out of my way? But it doesn't mean, so it's like any sibling thing, but it's, this morning I woke up and they're head to head, those two. So, again, the biggest thing and the biggest sign of safety in wildlife is sleeping next to each other. So, I know there's big love in this household. But anyway, the morphic resonance, the more we're aware of our own, we have a responsibility to walk in and be the energy that we want our animals to experience, right? And if I'm in a bad mood, I at this point, my animals are so used to pretty much the even keel of me setting the intention for harmony, that if I'm in a bad mood, it doesn't really change anything. Just like Queen Latifah can be in a bad mood. It doesn't change the whole household. Francesca can be mad at me because I put her on a shelf that dropped. It's not going to change the whole household. Delilah grieved heavily when Isabella died 2.5 years ago. It doesn't change the household. We can all be who we are going to be, and we all don't have to go down that road. They don't have to come down this road. The idea of morphic resonance is it's a field of energy that is our family, with its own emotional code, its own signature in the universe, and its own intelligence. And therefore, we can each be autonomous, and yet we are this collective cosmic family.
Karen Maynard, does that answer your question? Because she was asking, is that morphic resonance? Candace says that something happened with Rhino. She said, Rhino got me again last night at home. All of a sudden I had anxiety and I wondered why. I realized it was Rhino. He saw the cat. As soon as I realized it was gone. Now that I'm aware, it makes all the difference.
Oh my God. Candace, that is so great. That's big. And, oh my God. There go the lights. Delilah. Oh, she's so careful. If that would have been Abby or Barnaby,
we'd have no lights.
We would have, the whole room would have gone that way. Okay, everybody out. Or I know. Delilah, come here. Up. Good girl. Okay. I get Abby's butt. Okay, so I'm busy. Anyway, So, that is so great, Candace, to recognize that a lot of times, this goes back to the idea that we always say that our animals are reflecting us, but the truth is, Candace is a perfect example of not thinking that she had a lot of anxiety, but really she was picking up on her dog's anxiety. And when we're empathic, we're just like picking up on this over here and sending it over there, and then we're getting theirs, and we're just like passing it around like some sort of kindergarten game, when the truth is, if we stand in that our own field of energy and we're aware of what it is that we can be, then our animals have true freedom to be who they are without having it be a really a struggle in the relationship, and without them going down with us, if that makes sense. Okay, so anyway, I wanted to, so that to me is the emotional leadership. And then I know I've told this story before, but this is really, so I have a little section in this chapter called The Energy of the Professional Animal. And one of the reasons I really want to talk about this is because if we think about the idea of emotional leadership for ourselves and in our home. Who's that?
Oh, she's taking out the bags in the vacuum.
Oh, okay.
The big bag vacuum.
Oh, the horrible vacuum. Okay. Anyway, if we think about who we are with our animals and what we are, we're the emotional leader with our animals. One thing I love to tell my students, and one of the reasons that my program is built out the way that it is that we create a resonance about our work. We create a morphic resonance or a field of energy around our work, and professional animals have it. Why are you looking so funny?
Because I saw a comment by Karen Maynard about something, so I'm going back to see where the original thread is.
Okay.
It's about someone yelling in the household who I guess doesn't like a foster.
Oh.
And so it says, when he yells at the cat many times, the cats in the other room react. One of the cats has been throwing up when the incident occurs. Is it because of my reaction to this behavior?
Okay, where do you have the start of that?
I'm
yeah.
looking.
And Karen, yeah, we'll get to that here in a minute, but Karen, do you foster a lot of animals? I suppose that would be kind of the main question, too.
Oh, here it is. And what if you live with someone who is negative, mean towards animals? And then she went on further. Just a particular foster pet. And then I guess the next question is the one about the yelling.
What? So what is the question about the yelling?
When he yells at the cats many times, the cats in the other room react. One of the cats has been throwing up when the incidents occur. Is it because of my reaction to the behavior?
I would say it's both. I'm sorry, we have the wackiest.
I don't know what was in their water today.
You know what? We didn't let them go run first.
Yeah, true.
I mean, but we just come back from a giant hour hike, so you would have thought that we would have been fine, but anyway.
They're just all having makeout sessions.
Yeah, now the dogs are making out. Okay, so it's almost dog pornography. I'm sorry. It's too bad you can't see this. Okay, so anyway, what I feel like with a household like that is, if you look at the idea of emotional leadership, yeah, if you're getting upset, if the person is upset about a cat, and then you're getting upset at the person about the cat, nobody knows what the direct, they can know specifically that you're upset about that, but if you've got fosters in there to begin with, and some of them are newer to the household, the important thing that yes, those other animals are going to be affected by that, but the truth is you can shift that so that somebody can yell. Who cares if they yell, right? Like if they're upset about an animal, you have to think about, is that really good for you? Is that in alignment with you? That's the most important question to me. But somebody can be upset about something and that doesn't have to take the whole household down. So this is exactly what I talk about with emotional leadership. So in other words, then you've got to step up to the plate and always be the balance. Always say, here's my intention for the household, and it's much bigger than a fight. You know what? Can you hand me that picture, the underneath one?
Yeah.
So in the energy healing technique that I teach, the scalar wave, other than EFT, oh my God.
They're just
Wacky. We've got a lot of fun people coming, so they might be. They've
on.
already landed. Oh my God.
Abby.
Okay.
Come on.
So my friend Alan Davidson gave this to me because when I was in Houston, he heard me talk at the Ionics, the Institute of Noetic Sciences, and he's heard me talk about scalar wave before. But when we think about the reason I love this energy work so much. Okay, you guys, let's chill.
Yeah.
Abby, lie down. Anyway, the reason that I love the energy healing technique that I do, here comes Queen Latifah.
Oh,
She wants to be in on the action. Anyway, is because the idea of the scalar wave is a wave is stronger than chaos. And so my friend just gave me this.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, cutting through the chaos, and I went and got a frame.
Put it up a little bit. There we go.
Good girl, Abby. So you have to be the wave of energy that cuts through the chaos. So whoever you live with that yells at Foster's, that shouldn't have... Queen Latifah, you cannot come in here and start telling everybody else what to do. We were quite fine. Anyway,
She just walked away.
But the point is that if you are that wave of energy, that's emotional leadership. That's so walking in and saying, all right, he or she can yell all they want. I don't care. You know, that the question's going to come down to whether that's something you want to live with. And if you do, that's also fine. No, you know, we've all lived with yellers at some point, right? We may have even been a yeller.
Why do you say that after you look at me?
So anyway, getting back to the energy of the professional animal.
Karen Maynard says that's gorgeous. It is.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm so excited.
She says, so keep my emotions in check.
Keep your emotions in check. And again, yeah, keep your emotions in check. And know that you could have the bigger influence on that. So it's keeping your emotions in check and sending out the harmony vibe, right? Just creating that. So this next thing that I'm going to talk about might help you. So
she says, okay, I will be the emotional leader.
Hooray! Yeah, if we had a whole bunch of emotional leaders, do you think the world would be the way it is right now? You know, we'd all be taking responsibility for our own stuff. We wouldn't be blaming everybody. We'd all be walking through and saying, well, I participated in this way, and I'd like to clean up my side of the street. You know, it's about self-accountability, and it's not policing. It's just, I'm going to look here. So anyway, going back to the professional animal. I love this reference point as far as energetically, because it is what, as animal communicators and energy healers, we go in and do. And I've told this story before, but one day I was working on this very book, and I was probably like 30 million drafts in. And when I tell you that this book, it doesn't look like it's really hard, but it was a lot of research. It was 4 drafts, 3 editors, 2 boyfriends, and a lot of coffee. And a lot of distractions, right? Like, it hurt to write sometimes. So Claudia, you're here. Do I ever turn the TV on?
No.
Never.
Never.
I mean, I might at night, but, you know, during the day it's just taboo. So one day I turned the TV on, and what's on? Oh, Westminster. And I all of a sudden was mesmerized by, like, this dog that walked through, and I thought, and it was Best in Show. So now I'm like, oh my God, that dog is going to win. That dog is going to win. And then the next dog walked in, Beyonce, and I was like, oh no, that dog is going to win. And then the next dog walked in, and I'm like, no, this dog is going to win. And the thing that they all carried with them is that they've been in dog shows for so long, they have 150 wins in their energy field. They can't not have that energy. They're always going to walk in as a professional. If you've ever been to a therapeutic riding center, you see these animals that come in, these horses that come in, and you could put anybody on them. They're unflappable. If you look at, I have several clients that are guide dogs for people with sight challenges, and you've ended up with one of my clients, yes. Right? Because my students are getting my clients these days. But so I've had 1 million of those animals as clients, and they carry a certain professionalism with them. And this is what we forget to do, is to walk in with that air. As a matter of fact, I'll tell one more story. Perfect example. I had a gal that became a friend, but she had a Bernese Mountain Dog, and when she would walk into the show ring, she called me, and this was in the year 2000, because she would walk into the show ring and the dog wouldn't do what she expected the dog to do. So anyway, I said to her, I communicated with the dog, and I got a sense in that moment that what happens is she would walk, the dog showed me exactly, like she would walk in, and then they would do a few, in an obedience class, there's several steps into it. They'd be like 3 or 4 steps into it. And she would get really nervous, and all he could hear is, right? He had no connection with her. And this is like her soulmate dog, right? So to have no connection, now he's distracted, he's looking around, he's not paying attention, he's unhooked. So I asked the woman, what do you do for a living? And she's like, I'm a trial lawyer. And I said, well, why wouldn't you walk into the ring as if you know what you're doing, right? Just pretend. And because this is the one place, like she was confident in every other area of her life, but this was the one place that just still had her like, oh no, and she'd backpedal. So she started walking in with complete swag, and she won all the titles that she needed to get to the next level. But my point is that when we walk in with, that's a perfect example of emotional leadership, right? Like the dog is like, I'm always tracking you, that was great, that was awesome, I know what our next step is. When we disconnect, our animals don't know what it is. And I tell the story in here about a story about Secretariat, and I met the guy that had ridden him in the race after the Triple Crown. And so I don't love horse racing, don't get me wrong, but I love Secretariat. I love the idea of horses being in like I've always had thoroughbreds, and they're very competitive with each other. And so I'm not condoning horse racing, but I just want to share that, like, Secretariat knew who he was. He knew who he was so much that he magnetized that Penny, the woman, the owner, who, like, he was not exactly, to look at him, the horse that would have done this, right? He magnetized that groom. He magnetized the rider. And then I met the guy that the rider got disqualified, or something happened after that. And I met the guy that rode him for the last 2 races that he still won. And the thing about that horse is that even after he'd won, he'd still keep going faster and faster and faster. I mean, just because the joy of who he was and what he was doing. And he literally had the biggest heart, physically and emotionally. But that sort of professionalism and knowing who you are, he brought people into his field of energy that stepped up to the plate. All broken people that were whole again because of who he was. And so that to me is like that horse had emotional leadership. And so then I want to say one more thing, and I know you're dying to say something.
No.
Okay. But one more. So when I think about animal communicators or energy healers, when we're doing our work, and one of the reasons that I have my program set out the way that I have it set up, it's like there's X amount of classroom hours in case I get picked up by a university. And then there's X amount of field hours. And by the time that my students walk out of this program, They are so professional, and they have had everything go wrong in that 18 months that could have possibly gone wrong. They struggle with it. They're mad about it. They want to quit. They do all those things while they're in the 18 months. So by the time they walk out, they've got a field of energy that exudes professionalism that you can't get when you're just like, I'm going to try this and I'm going to talk to a bunch of animals. You can't get that in that way. And when I walk into a space, even if an animal is terrified, as an animal communicator or energy healer, I've had a number of wins in my field, just like those dogs at Westminster, of either the scalar wave or EFT. So I walk in with a certain, not confidence, because I'm always humble and I'm always aware, but I have a certain air of this could work. And when you have that sort of level of, I have thousands of wins in my field, then that already is starting to shift the quantum physics of the situation. The horses or the dogs or the cats go, okay. Like already my confidence in that brings their energy down. They don't have to be at this place. Does that make sense? And that I can't teach, but I can create and facilitate a situation where all of my students experience that. So.
And we do.
And they do. And we're about to do it again for the next 9 days. So does that make sense? Is anyone commenting?
Yeah, Karen Maynard says, oh, that's awesome. Cindy Grigoriev says, back when you were talking about what it took you to write the book, she says, wow, that is a lot to go through to write the book about the two boyfriends, she says specifically. So
pretty funny.
Yeah.
Well, one of them was a writer and he understood, but yeah, it was a lot to go through for a book. So anyway, that, I feel like that is what, what is, so it's almost like there's the emotional leadership of our household, and then stepping into this zone where we're going to help and heal and communicate, that has another whole professional morphic resonance, right? That I bring with me every time I walk into something, and my students really bring that. And it'll be fascinating to watch. Like, I love watching even just a weekend workshop. I know every step of the way and I get to share with my teachers what we're going to go through, the roller coaster we're going to go through, just for the animal communication, let alone the animals in transition, and let alone the energy healing for animals. I mean, the animal communication, energy healing for animals, those two classes, I've taught for 21 years. And the animals in transition, death, dying, and beyond, I've been teaching for 14 years. So I know everything that's going to, what I mean? Like every phase of it. And it doesn't take away from the thrill of each. It changes, the quantum physics and the magic changes because of the specific people. But I've structured it in such a way that there's an up, and then if we're going to have a down, let's have it here together. And then we'll go back up again. And so that's another energy of emotional leadership, right? Like that we have to carry. I'm constantly working with, the people that end up stepping into teacher training, I don't have to work that much with, because they already carry that. They already want to be teachers and help and facilitate. So
Cheryl Benson says, thank you, that's beautiful, about the secretariat and the Westminster. Tony Ann says, I love this, it's amazing, about being the emotional leader, all that.
Yeah.
Mary Boshin says, so well said, thank you for that great explanation.
Oh, good. Sometimes I feel like it's just like blah, 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 just like cantered off with a tangent, but it is what we were here to talk about.
You always bring the tangent
back. I do bring the tangent back, and I think, that feeling, because, I've certainly been in situations where dogs are snarling at me at shelters, and I know I'm going to go in and tap on them, and it's like then I keep myself safe, and I might have the handler tap, but I'm right there, I'm right here. I'm here, and I've done this before, and I've had an exceptional result, so I'm not going to back down, and so even that makes the gnarliest dog go, she's not freaking out. Maybe I could do something else. So it's really showing up in our household, out in the world with that energy, and there's a certain elegance with it, and there's always got to be a certain humility and a certain curiosity, like, why are you sad, or what is going on? Or Queen Latifah, Queen Latifah coming in here and picking on everybody like we're supposed to do what she wants. No. But if she's being picked on somewhere else, then I'm going to go after that, right? Just like I'm not going to let her tell all the dogs what to do during our...
Did you notice they stopped?
Yeah, they did. They're all behaved, actually. All right, maybe I have this wrong. Thank you, Queen Latifah. Thank you.
Tony Anatrella says, next year for the fall intensive. I'm holding you to that.
You know what? I was wondering. I am so excited that my animals talk about the morphic resonance. We're all like, woo! I want people, I would love for this to be this time next year, and you're getting ready to come. And it doesn't even have to be this time next year. You could come for the spring, or you could start the whole process with getting onto the animal. I'm pointing at the computer because it's a Zoom call. The Animal Communication Home Study Course, Level 1. And if you haven't seen Claudia's fabulous video about what that is, we'll have to highlight it here in this because she really tells a great story about what it was for her. But I wanted to share some of the techniques, some of the stuff that I've done with this, with, say, for example, specifically the scalar wave. And I call this section Bypassing Logic, Leaping into Faith, True Stories of Animal Healing. And I literally have thousands and thousands of these, and now collecting data of, hundreds, if not thousands of my students' stories. But one of them, I show this chart in here. It's a chart. One of my students was actually at my, this was probably, this book came out in 2015, it had to be 2013. So one of my students was actually at the fall intensive, and her cat had been diagnosed with a heart condition, the terrible, sad thing that most cats don't get anymore, but still a few cats get. And so, with the heart condition, of course, his breathing rate changed, and that's how, they're able to really monitor it. So he was in ICU, the cat, and the human was at my class, and I'm calling them Martin and Gloria. That's not their real names, just because I'm protecting I either change people's names or I've forgotten and I make up names, but I know exactly who it is, and it was really, really tragic. So Barnaby started something in the computer. It's a wacky day here.
No, it's just reminding us that we have class at 11.
Okay. All right. So anyway, so the cat Martin was in ICU, and what we did was she got charts from the hospital on what his regular heart rate was, and then we did the scalar wave at specific times, and we had the hospital monitor when we were working on him, and you could see that she and I would go into my office and work on him together, and you could very clearly see the difference in his heart rate or his respiratory rate when we worked on him. So I love to put proof in, and I always have my students do blood work if they can with their clients. Another story in here is of my friend Jen, who's had this is when I first met her, and she's someone that's gone through the program and has a horse that I've traveled the world with and done EFT on. And anyway, she always fosters dogs. As a matter of fact, she's how I got Abby. And she had a foster that had kidney disease, and she didn't think she was going to be able to adopt the dog out. And so she did blood work before I worked on the dog, and then blood work afterward. And somewhere in a file, I've got all of the blood work and all the changes that, and they often say that kidney disease is impossible to switch. And I've had about probably 16 to 20 other cases where I've gotten the before and after blood work, and one of them I worked on, and I taught the people how to do the scalar wave, and so the kidney disease reversed itself, if you will. Another story is in here is a story of a woman named anyway, her horse's name is Manja, and the horse had I don't know what happened. I was sitting in Florida because I was about to get on a dolphin trip, and when I used to do dolphin trips, I did 2 back-to-back, and so I'd be out on a boat for several days. I'd come back to land in the Bahamas and then go back out on a boat. So she called me and said, my horse is down, she can't get up, the whole leg is swollen, they think they're going to have to put her down, can you work on her? And I said, yeah, of course I can work on her, but just know that I'm flying into the Bahamas later today, and as of tomorrow, this time tomorrow, you won't be able to get a hold of me, but I'll work on her every hour. And what happens the first day of the dolphin trip was really the captain's deal, right? Like, I could show up and say hi, but I didn't have to do much. So I literally hid in my cabin, and I just worked on Manja every hour, and they got her to University of Missouri, and they thought they were going to have to put her down. They stood her up. They transported her 2 hours to the ICU, and by the time I left on the boat out to sea, I didn't know what had happened, but apparently by the time I left, she was out of ICU, she was walking, and she then went on to still do a Grand Prix dressage test the next spring. So, it's like, I mean, I can, like, spit out miracle after miracle after miracle after miracle, but what it is it's like, it's learning a skill, and then being skilled, and being that emotional leader at your skill of energy healing. And the next few chapters, we're really going to go into more and more and more energy techniques and what works, what doesn't, what's energetic body work. But really, it's the reason I love this is it's taking a leap of faith, but it's taking a leap of faith with emotional leadership that, wow, anything's possible. And I know we have to wrap up, but
yeah, so really quick, Karen Maynard, there's 2 comments she made. One made me laugh, and the other one is a great way to wrap it up. She says, in the beginning of the hour, I thought you were talking about the real Queen Latifah.
That is so funny. No.
And then her last comment, which I think is a great way. Every time I attend your FB Live book clubs or other FB events, I read your books, watch your videos. It is helping me to manifest my dream or life purpose, which is to start with your programs and intensives to help heal and communicate with animals. It is hard for me to keep my emotions in check when it comes to animals, but I will do it for them. I would love to have stories like that of my own someday.
Yes, yeah. You know what? Let's take a moment here and just close our eyes and imagine that's me. That's me telling people this story. That's me talking about this work. That's me because I have all these experiences. And because I have all these experiences, I'm able to keep my own emotions about other people's animals and other animals in other situations in check so that I can be a standing wave of energy, cutting through the chaos and helping others. Amen, and so it is.
And so it is.
Yeah. So I have the intensive coming up, so if you want to fly in, you've got until Friday. Or you could just come to Energy Healing for Animals next week. I have 2 spots on the White Lion trip. Somebody just dropped out, so I thought I only had 1. I have 2 spots left. And then I have the Animal Communication Home Study course coming up, Level 1, coming up on October 23rd. And I think the tow truck guy is here based on the activity of the toenails. So anyway, thank you and see you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.